is Ryan from Pyrithion, and you're watching Rock and Metal News.
Hey, this is Dallas from YouTube's Rock and Metal News, and I have Ryan on the line from, he's a guitarist of a new band called Pyrithion. Pyrithion is a new band fronted by As Lay Dying's Tim, and it also includes guitarist Ryan from Legion, and guitarist Andy Godwin, ex The Famine and Embodiment. And their EP coming out soon on April 16th, entitled The Burden of Sorrow, will be out. It's out on April 16th, and it's coming out through Metal Blade Records, and the EP includes 3 tracks. So thank you very much for doing this interview with us, speaking with me today. So get right into the questions. How was it working with Tim and Andy, and how did it come about?
It was good working with them. Actually, as far as the songwriting process goes, on my end, it was kind of done more on my own, because we all live in different states, so we didn't really have time to get together and try and work on songs or anything. We just kind of did our own thing for the most part. But literally, Tim just sent me a text message one day. I woke up to a text from him just asking if I was interested in starting a new project, and so just kind of talking to him, he kind of told me he was wanting to do something a little heavier, and he wanted to do an EP before As Lay Dying went on tour for a couple months, and it's pretty much just like, hey, let's throw some songs together, try to record an EP to get some buzz before we do a full length, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man, the sound is amazing. Actually, I love the EP.
Oh, thanks.
It's got a really interesting sound compared to what anybody else has done in the band.
Yeah.
And so how was it initially working with Andy? Have you guys worked together before? How has working with him changed over the last several months?
To be honest, I haven't really talked to him that much. I had never met him. We all got together to do the EP, and so I mean, honestly, we didn't really work together at all, and still kind of. I mean, I guess we kind of have. One of the songs on the EP, the second one, is a song that he had literally wrote a couple of the riffs, I think the night before he got out to the San Diego area to record the EP, and so we just kind of put that song together in the studio. The other 2 are songs that I wrote, and kind of had pretty much wrote them the way they are ahead of time, I guess. It's just I guess the way he's used to writing songs is with the band, everybody gets together and writes a song, and I've just been so used to now with the Legion, since we all live in different towns in Colorado, that we just don't, that's too time consuming for us to try and write songs together, so we just write our own songs and then give them to each other. So I think it's a little weird at first, because he's a little older than Tim and I, so he's just more used to doing things that way, whereas Tim and I guess As Lay Dying does a lot of that as well, where they just kind of write songs on their own and then bring them to the band. So it'll be interesting to see how things move forward in the future. But we all got along, worked well together, and
awesome.
That was kind of the point of the EP. It was partly to get the word out that we're starting a new project, but really I think for me it was more can I be in a band with these guys? Are we gonna get along? Are we gonna like each other's styles? And I think it went well. We were able to find out that I think we all can work well together and not want to kill each other. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it worked out, man, because the EP is probably one of the best EPs I've heard this year so far.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so to get that unique guitar sound and style for Pyrithion, have you changed any sounds or tried to add anything to help Pyrithion get a unique type sound compared to your other stuff?
You know what? When he kind of told me what he was going for, he just said, I want something heavy and dark, pretty much the complete opposite of, I shouldn't say complete opposite, but just very different from As Lay Dying,
Yeah.
They're a little more melodic, and they're, I don't want to say they're not the opposite of dark, but they're just, they're a little more modern and not really mainstream, but kind of borderline mainstream sound at points. And he wanted to dark and heavy, and that's pretty much all he told me, really, and I just kind of went for it. I mean, the 2 songs that I wrote for the EP are the first 2 things I came up with, and, typically, I tweak songs for months and months before I'm ever, totally satisfied with them, so we didn't really have that option, so I'm looking forward to doing the full length, because it's going to be, I think, a chance to make things a little more dynamic and really put some good time for all of us into the song, so I'm pretty stoked to see what it's going to shape up to be moving forward.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. And as you said, it's a lot heavier style for Tim. It's more straight up kind of death metal. And I was wondering, how was it for Tim with the newer kind of vocal style and vocal mixing?
Actually, I was only there for a little bit of that because I was there for 2 days. I think all the rest of us recorded for 2 days, and then he did some of it later. But I did catch, because he wanted just to show us kind of what he was going to go for. And so for the first thing I heard him do was actually the first, I guess, single, if you want to call it that we released, the song Invention of Hatred. And I wasn't sure what to expect, because he hadn't really told me what he was going to do vocally. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh man, this is going to be sweet, because it doesn't sound like Tim, but he's got moments where it does. He just kind of, he said that's actually much easier for him to do vocals like that than it is the As I Lay Dying style vocals, which is interesting.
Yeah.
He said he's actually got not a super deep voice, but he's got not a very high mid-rangey voice. So doing some of the lower stuff, I guess, was just a lot easier on him.
Yeah. And during the song, the Invention of Hatred, I noticed 2 solos in it, and were they both you, or did you split that with Andy?
Yeah, they're both me, actually.
Oh, cool.
I guess he kind of wanted to stick more to rhythm stuff, I guess, and I had actually wrote a solo for the song that we put together from a couple riffs that he had, which is the second song, Bleed Out, and then she wrote the solo for that song. But I wrote the 2 for Invention of Hatred, and the last song there's a solo section that I wrote as well. So, yeah.
And I noticed in the song Resting in the Arms of a Paralyzed Beast, it's the most dynamic song with a lot of different feels and acoustic work in it. Could you speak a bit on how you created that song?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. When I have time to mess with the song, I like to add a lot of different, I guess, layers and ups and downs to them. And so that song never really got totally worked out like I wanted it to. Yeah, I like to mix stuff up like that. I like CDs to have high points and low points as well as songs too. So I just thought I'd experiment with my crappy little acoustic guitar and see if I could come up with something that sounded kind of cool, that had kind of a little more epic feel to it, versus the other 2 songs that were just kind of pretty straightforward. So I hopefully will do a lot more dynamic things like that on the full length.
So how is it juggling your time between Pyrithion and Allegiant?
It's not too bad right now. Neither are super busy at the moment. I've been more busy with the Pyrithion stuff just because, doing interviews and trying to get artwork and videos done.
Yeah.
Coordinating stuff with Tim, coordinating stuff with Metal Blade. It just, it's time consuming. Allegiant, we put out our most recent album a little under a year ago, so it's there's not really a whole lot of, people wanting stuff from that, or that's kind of more on the back burner at the moment. That band, we don't have anything coming up super soon, and so I've just been pretty much focused on the Pyrithion stuff lately. So it's not too bad now. I can see how in the future, if they both start having stuff come up at the same time, it might be a hassle. But Tim's going to dictate what happens with Pyrithion more than anybody because of the As I Lay Dying stuff. They're always busy. So
yeah. And speaking of Metal Blade Records, how is it working with them?
It's good. I've known or had a relationship with them from my other band for a couple years now. So I kind of knew everybody involved beforehand, and like usual, they're pretty easy to work with, and I haven't been in contact with them as much this go around because Tim has known them obviously for like 11 years, so he talks to them more than I do, but there's one main guy there that I still talk to a lot for both bands, and they're always just like super helpful and willing to do what they can to help out, so it's good.
So do you guys have any touring plans or shows lined up at all?
Not at the moment. Tim's on tour right now, actually, and the summers, they're usually pretty busy. And I think more than anything, we want to try and focus on the full length for now and get that done. And once that's out, it probably makes a little more sense to tour off of, at that point we'll have done 13 songs, and right now we only got 3, so not anything in the immediate future, but we have talked about it, and, we want to make it more than just a side project. We want to make it an actual band that, we try and tour and do all the regular stuff that professional bands do. So
sweet.
Inevitably, yeah.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, sweet. And so the full length, can we expect that in 2013, or when is that expected to come out?
Yeah, we don't have anything set in stone. Tim and I were talking a while back, and it'd be cool to shoot for like end of summer, early fall to get in their studio, which would put a release date probably somewhere around the end of the year.
Sweet.
So, yeah, got some songs I've been working on, and I'm really excited about them. I think they're just so much better than the EP. I really think people that dig the EP are going to dig the full length so much more. So, if that's the case, I'm really looking forward to it.
Sweet. So, how far are you guys on writing the full length? You said I think you finished 3 songs, or?
I have, I want to say 5 I'm working on right now.
Okay.
That are either partially, is it 5? It's 4 or 5 that are either mostly done or in the process. And so I know we'll probably want to write, 12 or 13 songs. That way we have a selection to pick, like the best 10. Go with those.
Sweet. And do you guys have any names that you're looking at for like the album or song names?
Oh, no, not at all. That'll probably come. I'm assuming Tim's going to write all the lyrics.
Yeah.
So that will probably come once he's dove in. I'm sure he probably hasn't even thought about any of that yet.
Yeah, probably.
He's, focused on getting this EP out, and then he's on tour, so I know he's going to be busy.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for speaking with me today, and everybody out there, you got to check out their EP, their debut EP coming out April 16th through Metal Blade Records.